Hi, Shailendra. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dishan.
Glad to see you back after a very long time.
I haven't seen you in 2020 since 2022.
Yeah, we did the
Yeah,
levels,
2022.
2022. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So, how
yeah.
are you keeping?
I'm good. I'm at Royal Institute these days. I'm
Hmm.
finishing up my degree. So I have my last exam in May, finishing up in May. So I'm busy with studying for that these days.
So, what's the degree
Other than
actually?
that, economics and management.
Of economics and management.
Hmm.
So, to give a brief introduction about myself, so I'm Dishan Jatlak, and I have studied some professional marketing qualifications at Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, and I'm currently doing my higher education in hospitality management. So, it's basically hotel management side. It's a diploma at Management Science Institute. It's like what do you say? It's like a course which is like affiliated with Malaysian University. So I get the
Okay.
certificate from that. I think Royal Institute is a perfect institute.
Royal Institute is a very similar. Yes, it's affiliated with the British University. Yeah.
Correct.
But what you're doing has a lot of potential here, tourism and hospitality and all
Exactly.
of that.
Exactly. Yeah. So to give a brief introduction about yourself, so you can go ahead with yourself.
Okay, so I schooled at St. Thomas's College and left in 2022, and I write as a hobby.
Hmm.
I have been published once in 2019. I published a collection of poetry entitled The Beauty of Becoming, and I was also published once again earlier this year. My essay was published called The Irish Shop. So there's that. Yeah.
Okay. So to get on with the questions with the recording, and I would like to ask you, when did you first start writing? Like, how did your school and uni life help you with writing? Exactly.
So I actually have dabbled in writing and writing small stories since I was seven,
Hmm.
six,
Hmm.
but it properly started, I would say, when I was 12, 13. I was in grade 8 and I went through a difficult time in school at that time. And I wanted to get some sort of emotional release. So I wrote something. I wrote a story and I gave it to someone to read and they were impressed by it. And my love for writing sort of, I'd say, started there, even though it took place before that. Writing, reading, and all of that started there. Yeah.
So your teenage years was like the first foundation to your writing. Am I correct?
I had traces of it when I was younger, yes, but I'd say, yeah, I probably started as a teenager. Yeah, you're right.
Like, if you when you say about you had problems at school, was it like a block to you to for your writing, or did the problems help you to write?
The problems helped me writing because I didn't start writing
Mhm.
properly before that. So I was feeling, I'd rather not get into it. It's a bit personal, but it was a bit, it was a very It was a time that gave me a lot of anger, and that was what fueled my first story. But it set a sort of foundation in the sense that because being emotionally invested in something, Dishan, is a good part of why I write something, or
Yes.
part of how that's affected. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have also read this. Uh, she said the famous five novels and like Diary of a Kid novels. Like I had the full collection in a
Hmm.
uh, in a cupboard, and so like my parents helped me. Uh, they created the environment to read even in the house in some
Hmm.
places. And what inspired you personally to write essays and books?
So for the poems, it's actually a lot of things, Dishan. So for me, I believe the next part you asked is how did school and uni help me with writing? So during these times, I used to go on trips with my family, things I used to see on the way to school and back. Various things inspired me. So for my poetry, for example, I was inspired by that. I wrote this one poem on the jungle fowl, our national bird, after I saw it in Vilpattu. Sri Lanka nature has inspired me. Then there's another poem I wrote in that about a bo tree, a boga growing on the side of the street. And that's a very Sri Lankan thing.
thing. Yeah.
You go somewhere, there's a boga growing out of the street and all of that. So it's these common everyday things that inspired my writing. Yeah,
So
most of
the
the time.
so the nature helped you a lot to writing in the Sri Lankan nature.
Yes, nature, and then I've been abroad too. So I've been to Africa, no, been to Kenya, to Singapore, America. All of that helped me also. And I'm also very inspired by other novels as well, obviously, other novels. And then even music, lyrically, and all of that. The lyrics of music.
Lyrics of
So,
music.
in fact, I actually started writing poetry because of this band I loved. And the lead singer used to write the lyrics inspired by poetry. So I was inspired to take to that. And yeah, and video games, movies, it's a wide variety.
When you say about the music lyrics, most of the people love music in this generation because of the beats, because of the
Hmm.
music video. Not all people focus on lyrics, right?
Hmm.
These
Yeah,
days, right?
that's very true. You're very true. That was also because I grew up with people who loved lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And on the way to school, when Tati drove, he would play music and be like, Puta, listen to the lyrics. That's what you call good songwriting and all that. And it started from there. And I'd say it's still present today. Like, I still love good lyrics. It can be any genre, rap, rock, folk, yeah, anything.
Yeah, because like even like a most popular song would have a simple meaning in the lyrics, or there
Absolutely.
should be a Easter egg in the lyrics, like any future song or any future like his career path or something must be
Hmm.
hinted in the lyrics.
Yes.
Okay, so like the lyrics inspired you and movies,
Yes.
and
I
like
would say it's a wide variety rather than a single
wide
source.
variety. Sure,
Yeah.
exactly. So you said about you published a book. So my question was like, what made you want to publish a book?
So the story behind this is actually very interesting because I started writing the poems at the beginning of 2018
Mhm.
and 2018 onwards and then 2019. So it's a collection of 2 years worth of poetry. And I actually have the original book here where the first few were written. Okay, you can't, yeah. It's not like readable here, I know, but and I actually never planned to publish. I actually used to show it to my father. He was the first, and my parents as well, and my mother as well. They were both the first to see it, and it was ultimately they who decided, okay, this is very good.
Yeah,
We need to get this out there. And I was initially like, no, no, it's okay. And I was a bit shy also. I was 14, 15 at the time.
yeah, exactly.
And then they were like, no, no, we need to get this out there. And so they spoke to, so the person who actually helped format it and put it in that publishing format was a lady named Miss Ramya Jeerasinghe. She has won the Gratian Award and all of that. And she actually read through what I
Mhm.
have written. And she said, this is incredible and this is very commendable and we need to get this published as well. So that's how it started and it was released in October of 2019. Yeah.
So you released it after the, if you say in the timeline, after Sri Lanka got bombed in the Easter Sunday attacks, and
Yeah.
after that, like before the COVID period, right? That timeline, if you
Yes. There's a poem about the Easter Sunday attack too, also in it. Yeah. That's right.
like the other question I had was in mind was like, what influenced you to have for the beauty of the becoming book?
What influenced the book in particular?
Yeah,
So there's actually, if you don't mind me just going through, I'm not going to read anything. I'll just
sure.
tell you a few things that came through. So again, Dishan, the answer is a lot of things because there is no single theme here. I've written poems on just about everything. So I wrote a poem about San Francisco also when I visited California in 2016. And then I'm a big fan of snorkeling, underwater life and all of that.
Okay.
So I wrote about that also, about the underwater life in Trincomalee. So then I wrote about another one called the oil lamp, or the pahana you see in the temples. So it's a lot of things I would say that are essentially pictures of places. Now when I say a pahana, you think of a temple, right?
Yeah. Temple
When I
or
say the bogaha, you think of any Sri Lankan street, right? So yeah, I was fascinated by the image of a place and how much story something simple could tell.
yeah, I get the idea. Um, yeah. So basically, like, what do you enjoy about writing? What was the
I'd
enjoyment?
say I like the visual element of it. I like describing things, and I am in love with people and places and what they represent in a lot of ways. Yeah, I would say that I like the descriptive power of it. And when it comes to writing a short story, I like being able to create whatever world I have in my mind on a piece of paper and just going along with it. Same with poetry. There's always an element of you in what you create, is what I believe.
So I heard that your article, the Irish,
The
uh,
Irish shop.
with the Irish shop, it was published. So it was featured in a. Where was it featured?
It was featured on the Piker Press. It's an American online collective.
Okay, so it was featured on an American website. Like what your article? So what inspired it that much to go on a American website? Like,
So what happened was what inspired me to write the essay was I was in Australia in 2023. My cousins invited me over for a trip and I was exploring the city of Sydney by myself. And I was looking for this one particular place. So I walked from Darling Harbour, near this where the Sydney Opera House is and all of that, all the way to a place called Stanmore. And if I am to give you like how far it is, think of like walking from Maradana to Havelock City. I walked that much.
oh my God.
And yeah, I saw this shop, Irish shop, and I'm into culture, I'm into countries, I'm into all of that. And I walked in there and actually met this man who was what, in his 70s?
Hmm.
And I had a conversation with him and it could have lasted about an hour or something like that. And then I had to go back to my aunt's house in Australia. And that conversation I had with him, that exchange I had with him I thought it embodied so many wonderful things because he was very friendly to me. He was of a different age to me, of a different race to me, but he and I, there was no boundary per se. He was telling me about his life story, how he came to Australia and all of that. So that's what really inspired me to write The Irish based on that person, I'd say.
So like in the middle part, you said that your parents was your parents pushed the book that it should be published. Like
Yes.
normally, what would parents do is in Sri Lankan context, they don't want to be in a public audience or your son like
Mm.
per se. You don't have to be more famous because you get that attention and like
Mm-hmm.
like your parents are different from that view, right?
I wouldn't say they wanted me to like, I don't think they had intention of publishing it to make me famous, but more it was a certain of confidence thing, saying that, oh, you have this gift, you
Yeah.
can do it. And they have been parents in the sense that they've been great parents in the sense that they wanted you to feel valued in what you've been gifted, in what you've been artistic, whether it's music, whether it's writing, whether it's painting, whether it's sports. I believe a good parent, any caring parent would do that. Like whatever your son's gift and talent is, you'd support it. So it was, yeah, in a way, it was a bit of an opposing situation because Tati was like, we need to, like, this can't be like exclusive to my eyes only. This needs to be out there. And yeah, yeah, I
It
don't
should
regret.
not be in a closet or in a closed space. It should
Yeah,
be out for the public.
yes, yeah, that's what he believed in, and he was right. He was right
Right,
because a
yeah.
lot of people enjoyed it.
So have you like sold any? How much have you sold in per se in hard copies?
So I actually sold it barefoot when it was first released. Dishan, I'll be honest with you, I can't remember because it was like 6 years ago, 5 years
Yeah,
ago.
exactly.
So, but it was sold out in within a couple of months. And because some relatives bought it, I had people even reach out to me on social media saying, "Oh, I
Hmm.
enjoyed your book. My uncle enjoyed it," and all of that. And there's a copy of it in the school library also.
Okay, so Domians
So
can
there's
read
a
it.
Yeah, Tomin's carried. There's a copy of it at the RI library, the recreational library as well. And a lot of my English teachers, especially the ones who supported me, got one. So Miss Ruanti, I don't know if you remember Miss Ruanti.
Yeah, Miss Runt, yeah.
Yeah. So she was always, she actually saw the first story I wrote in grade 8. And she told me, she encouraged me to write. She said, you need to. So it was teachers like Miss Ruanti who actually encouraged me to write also. So I got that support from the school and all of that. So yeah, there's that.
So Shailendra, like, is there any friends in particular like you give samples to them and they read and give you a review? Is there any?
I have a few, Dishan. I have one
Hmm.
friend from uni, a few friends from uni who I've gifted the book to, and they were like, they always support me and they always give me honest criticism. I have a few from school who genuinely like who I've sent the article, Irish Shop article to. One friend actually read it and said, dude, it was like I felt as if I was there. So that for me was a very high compliment. And yeah, that's what.
So Shailendra, so thank you for joining for today's episode. Like, if I say thank you for your time, so is there anything you want to add up to summarize the video?
I'm actually thankful that you included me here. And and thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk
Sure,
about this. It means a
sure,
lot.
no problem,
Means
no
a lot.
problem. Because my podcast was like not the ordinary friends, so I have to pick out of the ordinary friends. Do
Mm,
some people like there is a huge pending list from the ones who see in the season one and up to now the first episode. Like, can you include me? Can you include me? Like I have to like filter filter the entire
right.
list to like get on hold. Like there should be something to talk with them, and I'm
Mm,
currently in discussion like up to now the season 3 is all the field. I'm still doing the season 2 episode,
mm,
second episode. Like there are the 2 episodes remaining in the season, and all the season 3 is being filled. So I would like to say like thank you for again joining with me, using your precious time. It's been an honor to have a writer in my podcast.
I'm very happy to hear that. Thank you again for having me, Disha.
Sure. So thank you everyone for joining to for today's episode. I hope you have a great day. So Shalindra, see you. Have a blessed day.
You too, Disha. See you.